Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 2 based on novel. So let's start. The land was vast, with beasts roaring and birds chirping. Various fluctuations spread out, containing various destructive abilities. If you are not careful, you will lose your life. In the wild, even the true gods have to be careful, for fear of attracting some terrible beasts. A space fluctuation passed through the sky. It was Huang, the servant Morosa, and Mo Yuhu. They shuttled through the void all the way, just like this, rushing straight to the direction of Huang City. There is the eternal true god. It is the eternal true god. From a distance, the roaring beasts were frightened and immediately dived into the water, and the large group of birds and beasts whistling in the sky avoided them from afar. Wherever this space fluctuation passed, there was silence. No beast dared to make a sound. All the strange beasts have gone quiet. A true god exploration team also watched the distant space fluctuations with envy and admiration. The one who dares to be so ostentatious in the wild should be the eternal true god. If I could become the eternal true god in this life, a team member sighed. Chan Muhe, you are so bold. My wish is much smaller. As long as I can settle down in Huang City, I will be satisfied. Huang City, that is a large city. It requires a chaos crystal to live in it for a century. Can you afford it? The group of true gods chatted for a while and continued on their way forward. Huang and his team were flying recklessly. Is this the way the eternal true god travels? Mo Yuhu was immersed in this feeling. In the past, when I left the city, I was always cautious and restrained all my breath. This kind of unrestrained, wanton and free flight is really fun. Huang and Morosa were observing the origin continent. What they knew before was intelligence, but now they saw it with their own eyes. The towering mountains that stretched for billions of miles, the endless rivers, the deep and unfathomable lakes, and all kinds of magical beasts, Huang and Morosa felt novel. The beasts were very sensitive, and they hid in fear when they sensed the fluctuations from a distance. They are quite smart. Huang did not catch these weak beasts. First, the beasts had their own talents, and it was not easy to catch them. Second, the weak beasts were too low in value and not worth their efforts. Sir, the nest of the eternal god-level beast is in front. Mo Yuhu pointed to the distance ahead. The beast is called Horned Snake, and it is good at drilling into the ground. The army of Huang City has come to encircle and suppress it several times, but failed to catch it. Horned Snake? Huang's heart moved. The eternal god-level beast is very valuable. When he came to the origin continent, he was penniless and unwilling to sell the treasures on his body, so of course he had to find a way to earn resources. You still maintain the aura of the void god, don't scare away the horned snake. Huang transmitted his voice. Yes, master. As a perfect divine body, Morosa's disguised aura has no flaws. Since coming to the origin continent, he has been pretending to be the aura of the void god. As a world beast, he needs to be absolutely low-key when he comes to the origin continent. He only needs enough time and energy, and he will eventually grow to the peak one day. Huang, on the other hand, needs enough tempering to grow. Huang, Morosa, Mo Yuhu and the others all slowed down their flying speeds, began to restrain their breath fluctuations, and approached the area where the horned snake's nest was. In the depths of the distant mountains, a huge golden one-eyed man looked at Huang and the others from a distance. Huang immediately felt that the pressure of the space had rapidly increased by billions of times, and the space began to distort. Some of the surrounding rocks and trees were silently turned into dust. Huang's divine power naturally resisted this terrifying pressure and also protected his companions. Eternal true god, what are you doing here? The huge horned snake looked at Huang from afar in the depths of the mountains, with fear, and sent a thought from afar. Huang ignored it and ran faster to the mountain. If you have the courage, keep chasing. The huge horned snake sent a thought, and then it disappeared without a trace. Huang stopped. He could sense that the breath of the horned snake had penetrated deep into the earth and was still escaping deeper. Earth escape? Luo Feng frowned. The time, space, and even matter of the origin continent are extremely stable. Even for me, it is very difficult to drill into the ground. But this horned snake disappeared in an instant. It should have mastered some source of the law of the earth. Master, are you still chasing? Morosa asked. I can't catch up. Luo Feng shook his head. He mastered the source of life and death, and Morosa was only good at the way of destruction. Both of them were better at frontal combat and were ordinary in earth escape. These strange beasts are indeed amazing. Although they are relatively low in intelligence, they naturally master the source of the law by virtue of their bloodline. Even the top strange beasts have the strength of the God King by virtue of their bloodline. Luo Feng sighed in his heart. Master, this horned snake is really timid. Morosa sighed. They are a little timid. Luo Feng smiled. As soon as they noticed him from afar, they immediately fled. It's not their fault. Luo Feng said, these eternal god-level beasts have such strength because of their bloodline talent. However, the cultivators of the 10,000 races have mastered the secret method and can use powerful weapons. They can even comprehend the essence of the law. At the same level, eternal god-level beasts are generally no match for the eternal god. So there are very few who dare to confront the eternal god head-on. But once they dare to confront head-on, they are not ordinary eternal god-level beasts. Luo Feng said, among the eternal god-level beasts, some extremely powerful ones occasionally appear. At the same level, the beasts with super strength generally have more special bloodlines and higher value. Maybe one of them is worth 10 or more ordinary beasts. Luo Feng is still looking forward to encountering such beasts. It's still difficult to hunt eternal god-level beasts. Luo Feng shook his head and stopped wasting time. Continue on the road. The places where eternal god-level beasts live are generally suitable for their bloodline talents, and they are very good at escaping. Luo Feng and the other two continued to rush towards the direction of Huang City. In the depths of the mountains, two teams of void true gods were fighting. We are Team C1 of the Jiuyan Tower in Huang City. We are just out to collect food. Please give us some face. A rock creature resisted with difficulty. The team he led originally had hundreds of members, but now all the true god members have died, leaving only 3 void true gods struggling to resist. They didn't expect that a relatively safe task like collecting food could be so dangerous. The 10 shadows that besieged them showed no mercy and cooperated with each other to kill them completely in a short time. You are so ruthless even if there is no grudge. You have to drag one of them down with you even if you die. Fight! The other 2 void true god members were already crazy, and one of them opened his golden wings, and the terrifying fluctuations burst out. Your speed is too slow. A low voice sounded. The 3 void true gods of the 9 Banquet Tower C1 team were still crazy, but with this low voice, the 3 of them were silent, their bodies naturally decomposed, and even their souls decomposed, and they died instantly. Only the artifacts were left. Military Lord, we are useless. 10 grey shadows said respectfully. Go on, as long as all living beings appear in this area, kill them all. A low voice came. Military Lord. The leading shadow couldn't help but say, we have been ordered to go to Huang City and need to arrive before the deadline. Today is the last day of the deadline. Do your own thing. The low voice said. Yes. The leading shadow didn't dare to say much, and the 10 shadows silently guarded this vast area again, and any living being passing by was killed. In fact, there is a terrifying force hidden in this vast area, covering the core area. In the core area, a green plant is growing, and a blue-purple crystal flower grows on its top. The fragrance of the flower spreads, causing the surrounding energy of heaven and earth to begin to become chaotic. Next to this plant, a black-robed figure sits and watches. I didn't expect that when I left the Food Kingdom and came to Huang City of the U Kingdom to take up my post, I would encounter a mature, blue-purple blood crystal flower on the way. When this blue-purple blood crystal flower is immature, it is ordinary and nothing special can be seen. But once it blooms, the fragrance of the flower affects the soul, and it is very conspicuous. The blooming period is about 10 days. Until it falls naturally, it can be used as medicine. The black-robed figure's eyes are fiery. I heard that the blue-purple blood crystal flower is the place where the blood of the god king's battle is watered, so it is possible to breed and grow. This flower is worth at least 100,000 cosmic sands. All my weapons and treasures added up to my cultivation so far are only worth 10,000 or 20,000 cosmic sands. The black-robed figure's eyes were fiery. If any eternal true god finds me, they will fight for me. Even if I am exposed, the army from Huang City will come to kill me. It will only take a few days before it falls naturally. The black-robed figure waited patiently. He would not allow any news here to be leaked. Even though he had tried his best to cover it up, he was afraid that the creatures passing by would find out, so he would kill all those who passed by here. Suddenly, the black-robed figure frowned slightly and took out the communication order. "What's the matter?" the black-robed figure asked. "Hey Duomo, why haven't you arrived at Huang City yet?" A voice as powerful as a mountain came. "According to the order of the Marquis, today is the last day. You must arrive at Huang City. Something delayed me, please forgive me, President Zanyun." The black-robed figure chuckled. "There shouldn't be anything urgent in Huang City that requires me to do it immediately, right? Huang City is the Huang City of Yu State after all. Our branch of Sha State here has always been in short supply for the eternal true God." The powerful voice also eased down. "I won't report your delay, but you should arrive at Huang City as soon as possible." "Don't worry, I will arrive within 10 days. the black-robed figure said. Soon, the communication was cut off. The black-robed figure smiled and put away the communication order. The so-called military order has a relatively low binding force for the eternal true God. They are already the backbone of the core, and generally small problems will not be pursued too much. Now, nothing is more important than this blue-purple blood crystal flower. The black-robed figure looked at the blue-purple flower that was blooming and exuding fragrance, with an obsessed look in his eyes. Luo Feng, Morosa, and Mo Yuhu were flying through the void, heading straight for Huang City. Luo Feng suddenly looked in a direction and saw the mountains in the distance. He saw a terrifying force hidden deep in the mountains, and there was a faint blue-purple color. Are there any rare treasures? Luo Feng's heart moved. There are also great differences between the eternal true gods. The divine bodies are big and small, the purity of divine power is high and low, the source of the laws mastered is also different, the secret techniques practiced, and the weapons and secret treasures owned will affect the strength of an eternal true God. As a perfect divine body stronger than the infinite divine body, Luo Feng's divine body is huge and vast once it reveals its true form. His sensing range is naturally far beyond that of ordinary eternal true gods. The sensing range and sensitivity of sensing have reached an incredible level. His sensing and control of breath can even reach the perfect level. Even some ancient beings have to rely on cause and effect, time and space and other means to glimpse some of Luo Feng's truth. There should be an eternal true God hiding there, and his power is covering up the aura of the rare treasures. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. The rare treasures of heaven and earth are born from heaven and earth, and they are all ownerless. Those who are capable will get them. While thinking about it, Luo Feng also put the black jade tiger into the star tower. Hey, Mo Yuhu was a little surprised and was taken away. Morosa smiled innocently and looked into the distance. Master, are you ready to take action? Do you need my help? Even if he took action, he could at most unleash the means of the eternal true God, and would rather die than use any means of the world beasts. If you are required to take action, I will notify you. Luo Feng was eager to try. He loved fighting in his heart, and he had never met an opponent after becoming the eternal true God. Okay. Morosa was a little disappointed. He also wanted to have a good fight. You watch here, I'll go up and take a look first. Luo Feng said as he flew over. Morosa stood high in the sky and watched this scene. He thought to himself, it has not been long since my master became the eternal true God. He has not had time to practice powerful secret techniques. I hope this opponent is strong enough so that I can take action. Morosa felt itchy. Even without using the methods of the world beasts, Morosa has already figured out many tricks just by relying on his understanding of the great way of destruction. As Luo Feng flew closer, he also noticed that a flying boat carrying the True God team had entered that area. There is a void True God and more than 10 True Gods in this flying boat. They are carefully steering the flying boat towards Huang City, avoiding some dangerous places along the way. Suo Zi, Suo Yun, you two will settle down in Huang City from now on. The leading man with long hair said, Huang City is a large city with countless True Gods. The void True God is just an ordinary one there. You True Gods can only be regarded as the bottom. The two young men listened obediently. This man with untied hair is the patriarch of their tribe and the only True God of the void in the entire tribe. He once lived in Huang City for a long time. You must keep a low profile when you arrive at Huang City. Those who show off their treasures will be dead in a second. The tribe leader said, keep a low profile, keep a low profile, and keep a low profile. Even if you are the most talented in the tribe, you still have to keep a low profile. Because you are too weak now. Yes. The two young men responded. As long as you ordinary True Gods don't show off, no one will do anything to you. After all, Huang City also has laws and order. The clan leader said, as long as you show off, your life will be gone quietly. The Huang guards will not be able to find the murderer even if they investigate. Ha ha, Patriarch, you have said these things many times. They must have remembered it clearly. The rest of the team also laughed. The clan leader smiled and nodded, the first thing you should do when you go to Huang City is to thoroughly check your bloodline. After that, you can find a secret method that suits you. There are countless opportunities in Huang City. As long as you seize the opportunity, you will have the hope of becoming a True God of the void. There was desire in the eyes of the two young men, Suo Zi and Suo Yun. They were unwilling to stay in the tribe for their entire lives, as they were afraid that they would be just True Gods in the tribe for their entire lives. They also wanted to become True Gods in the void and see more wonderful things. Don't worry, Patriarch. We have already remembered how to survive in Huang City. Suo Yun said. The Patriarch nodded slightly, and suddenly his expression changed. Not good. The clan leader's aura suddenly surged, and his divine body burned at the first instant. He used his surging divine power to control the entire flying boat with all his strength, and layers of gorgeous formations appeared on the surface of the flying boat. At this moment, 10 terrifying shadows appeared at the same time, connected into one with invisible force, and were attacking the flying boat at the same time. Military formations? 10 void True Gods? The clan leader knew that something was wrong. He had been to Huang City and had a lot of experience there. However, the death of his beloved and close friend made him tired of life in Huang City. He went to the wild and settled down in a weak tribe. After a long time, he naturally became the patriarch of the entire tribe, and also attracted many weak True Gods to join him. After all, those who survive in the wild are generally very weak and poor True Gods. With a void True God as a backer, a larger tribe will naturally form. Boom! The 10 shadows joined forces to attack, and layers of formations appeared and cooperated on the surface of the flying boat. Even if 1 or 2 layers of formations were destroyed, new ones would emerge. You do have some abilities. Shiying was surprised. They were all elite soldiers in the army, and were the personal guards of the army leader, Black Domo. There were very, very few who could resist the 10 void True Gods in a short period of time. Hurry up and get rid of him. There is no time to delay. They were also afraid that the military commander would be angry. If the military commander took action personally, their personal guards would be useless. Boom! 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 The aura of all 10 shadows surged. What? 10 strong men in the army, all burning their divine bodies to fight? I was just passing by. The clan leader couldn't believe it. How big a hatred could there be that would make them burn their divine bodies to fight as soon as they arrived? The patriarch glanced at his fellow tribesmen around him with regret in his eyes. "We can't escape this time. We're all going to die here," said the man with long hair. More than 10 true gods of the same clan were stunned. The two young true gods Suozi and Suoyun were even more confused. They had been full of desire and anticipation for life in Huang City before, but now they were going to die. Both of them were born in the tribe and had never been to the big city. This is fate. I have seen what I should have seen, and I have experienced what I should have experienced. It's a pity that Suoyun and Suozi are still very young and have never been to a big city. Most of the other true gods in the tribe were very calm. They were the elites of the tribe and had followed the tribe leader to Huang City for procurement several times. They also often went out to hunt exotic beasts and were used to seeing life and death. Is it finally my turn? The patriarch calmly waited for his fate, with reminiscence in his eyes. The other true gods in the clan also looked outside the flying boat, seeing the horrific scene of the siege, and could only wait for death to come. Suddenly, This? The clan leader, Suozi, Suoyun and other clansmen looked at the outside world in astonishment, and saw a black-haired man appear out of thin air. He had a pair of dark golden horns and deep eyes. The moment he appeared, the 10 shadows were so frightened that they immediately fled. It's the eternal true God. The clan leader in the flying boat reacted the fastest and immediately flew out to salute respectfully. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Luo Feng glanced at him, nodded slightly, then waved his hand to collect the flying boat including the clan leader. He might have to fight with that strange eternal true God, and he was afraid that the aftermath would kill these weaklings. Luo Feng was unwilling to implicate innocent people, so he decided to collect them first. Luo Feng then raised his head and looked towards the place in the distance where the powerful force was lurking. The 10 shadows also fled there. "I saw you." Luo Feng smiled. The black-robed figure lurking in the distance was so angry that his teeth itched. Although he was very powerful, according to the level of bloodline cultivation, he had cultivated to the 8th level of eternity, which was considered extremely powerful among the eternal true gods. However, at the critical moment of picking the blue-purple blood crystal flowers, he didn't want any accidents to happen. But the more you fear something, the more likely it will come. This is my place of cultivation. A terrifying force was released slightly, and a deep voice sounded, "This passing divine lord, please leave." Lord God is a respectful title in the origin continent. A place for cultivation? Luo Feng laughed. How come I detected the aura of a rare treasure from heaven and earth? In the distance, where the terrifying force was shrouded, a black-robed figure appeared. The black-robed figure had a gloomy expression and was very angry. He had tried his best to conceal his aura, but the aura of the rare treasures of heaven and earth was too mysterious. To perfectly conceal the aura of the rare treasures of heaven and earth, one generally had to be at the level of a chaos master to do it. The blooming period of the blue-purple blood crystal flower is only 10 days in total. During these 10 days, besides me, there was actually a second eternal true God passing by, and he also sensed the aura of the rare treasure. The black-robed figure sighed inwardly. After the black-robed figure appeared, he looked at Luo Feng from afar. Their eyes met. There is indeed a rare treasure from heaven and earth, but I found it first. The black-robed figure said, "I will kill anyone who dares to steal it." He is gambling. I bet Luo Feng wouldn't take the risk easily without knowing about the rare treasures of heaven and earth. He didn't know that Luo Feng was penniless except for a few of the most important treasures on him, and he was in urgent need of treasures to exchange for resources. Moreover, Luo Feng had been lonely in the original universe for too long, and he had long been eager for a big battle. I really want to try it. Luo Feng had a fighting spirit in his eyes. You are forcing me. The black-robed figure sighed softly, and the surrounding world suddenly became darker. The 10 shadow guards beside him disintegrated and died silently. When the 10 shadows died, they were a little bit unbelievable. You killed your own men? Luo Feng was puzzled. When they learn about the rare treasures of heaven and earth, they deserve to die. The black-robed figure said calmly, Originally they could have lived a few more days, and then we would kill them after the matter was over. Who would have thought that you would come? It's just an ordinary treasure. There's no need to kill the personal guards. Hidomo is strong enough to withstand the prying eyes brought by ordinary treasures. But the blue-purple blood crystal flower was too precious. Once it was exposed, it would bring too much trouble. Heijumo didn't know if he could handle it. So, Heijumo's method was to kill all the creatures that approached this area. He naturally didn't intend to let go of the 10 guards who had been following him. Tell me your name, an eternal true god, worthy of being remembered by me. The black-robed figure spoke. Since you are going to die, there is no need to know too much. Luo Feng said. The black-robed figure laughed angrily. He was reluctant to act rashly because he could not underestimate any eternal true god on the Origin continent. After all, who knows, someone could pull out a terrifying treasure. But that didn't mean he wasn't confident. Hidomo, who has reached the strength of the 8th level of eternity, is already considered to be extremely strong among the eternal true gods, otherwise he would not have been sent to preside over many affairs in Huang City. As a veteran, I am very cautious, but this eternal true god is ignorant of his own limitations. The black-robed figure instantly unleashed the killing move that he had been brewing. Luo Feng felt it. The origin of some unknown law has been disturbed. A black and silver cone appeared out of thin air. The surface of this black and silver cone was covered with dense secret patterns which were flowing with terrifying power. As soon as it appeared in front of Luo Feng, its speed distorted the space and caused slight fluctuations in the flow of time. Luo Feng's body is not big, but it can be used as a perfect divine body. It can be as big or small as he wants. It looks small, but it is actually huge. In addition, the small universe in his hometown is still condensing divine power, connecting to the heart of the true God for continuous supply, so that Luo Feng's divine body is always growing. This black and silver cone was about half a person's height. It instantly hit Luo Feng's chest, bang! It was as if two towering mountains collided at high speed. Even though Luo Feng had a perfect divine body, he was still hit by the black and silver cone and took a step back. His step back even shook the void. At the same time, one sharp cone after another appeared out of thin air. When they appeared, these spikes were already in front of Luo Feng. Some sharp cones hit Luo Feng's head, some hit his back, some hit his face, one after another sharp cones besieged Luo Feng from all directions. A total of 19 spikes. The 19 spikes coordinated with each other, and their terrifying bombardment was like a continuous stream of water. The destructive power they brought rushed into Luo Feng's body, wanting to completely destroy Luo Feng's divine body. Moreover, each spike also transmitted strange toxins, which penetrated Luo Feng's body and eroded his consciousness. Law toxin? Luo Feng noticed it, and his eyes were filled with excitement. How interesting. It has been a long time since I met such an interesting opponent. This video will end here.